And President Biden's return to the spotlight has been a big point of contention in the world of politics. So let's talk about it with my first guest tonight. Andrew Donaldson's the editor of the Ordinary Times. He's up late with me live here tonight on the Final Five. Welcome back to the show, my friend. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
Okay, so let's get this out of the way first. Books are always written about the previous administration. Many people find it to be nothing more than a cash grab, but there are sources out there. This is not tabloid fodder. Why are we talking about Joe Biden now that he's out of the public eye? Why do you think that this is so lucrative to talk about?
Because the post-mortem books by various people, whether they're admin officials, journalists, whatever, has become a very lucrative trade. And for the most part, I actually agree with you. I just try to ignore them. If you had this information, you should have reported it at the time. Look, I like both Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson. I respect both of them in the general, but I don't like this one in particular because this stuff really mattered. And a lot of people really suspected this, and they were proven right on it. And a lot of them were shouted down when they raise these concerns. So this one particularly feels a little cringy and distasteful, not to mention the fact that we had a president that clearly was having some diminished capacity issues. This stuff was way too important to just hold for a book. I'm not accusing them solely of doing that.
Right.
That's how it feels, and I don't like it at all.
Well, I mean, look, though, I mean, we have two eyes and we have two ears, and I think about that White House debate over the summer where Jake Tapper was one of the moderators, where it was clear from the second President Biden opened his mouth something was wrong, and they blamed it on him being tired. They blamed it on him getting over some sort of illness, maybe the flu at some point. But I think those of us working in the media definitely saw a difference. If you go back and look at Joe Biden in 2020 on the campaign trail, there was certainly differences in his demeanor. But there are a lot of people in the Democratic Party who say that why aren't you focusing on the current president? Why are we looking back on the previous one?
And that's the key right there, because Joe Biden and whoever else it would have been, if it would have been, you know, Bob from Paducah, whoever was going to be against Donald Trump was going to benefit from hagiography, because nobody wants to admit, because Donald Trump is so divisive. So they were going to prop him up no matter what. And a big part of it was because the other guy's so bad, we have to make this work, which is the root of all evil in most of politics, is the other side's so bad, I can do whatever I want to try to get the bad and justified good. That's the key part to a lot of this.
Okay, so as we look ahead, and again, this is there's a lot of attention being paid to this book. Alex Thompson has been on the show before. We have a request. I would love to speak with him or Jake Tapper or both of them, because I think, in spite of the fact that some people think it should be verboten to revisit this in this political climate, it is an important conversation to have. I believe one of the first times I had you on this show years ago, we were talking about the gerontocracy in politics, where you and I, who are both 44 years old, are spring chickens compared to most people serving on Capitol Hill and serving this country.
Well, you're going to milk that 44 for the, what, week you got left?
I got 7 days. So 7 days before I'm 45, my friend, and you got, I can't do math, 15 days before that. But I digress.
Yeah, look, the way you are managing middle age in a business that is notorious for vanity and being unfair to older people, the way you navigate middle age is a real just inspiration to all of us. But yes, the geriocracy is a problem. And Joe Biden really hit the perfect trifecta here of, he was the not Trump vote. He has a bit of an ego. He's very obsessed with his own legacy. He's talked about it over and over again. That's why he's doing the media tour now. But the more he focused on that, the worse it exemplified. Look, this is somebody that's been in the public eye for 50 years. We all knew what he looks and sounds like. So the decline was pretty obvious to the common people, even if the media was slow to catch up to it.
You know, looking at this interview from The View, it was sort of, you had the liberal members of the panel, the Joy Behars and the Whoopi Goldbergs, kind of being fawning, complimentary of him. And yeah, you can thank Joe Biden for his political service to our country. The tough questions fell upon Alyssa Farah Griffin, who served in the Trump White House. But again, it goes back to the fact that there were many people in the Trump orbit for years who also expressed concerns, you know, about this, that, or the other thing. You know, if you look at the medical reports that have come out of these presidential physicals, President Trump, President Biden, it never suggested that there was some sort of mental acuities at play here or lack thereof. Are we talking about this? Is this just all about our anecdotal observations here, or is this something worth delving into deeper?
It's worth delving into deeper, because this is now a bipartisan problem. Remember, Donald Trump's older now than Joe Biden was when he started his presidency. And if you want to go back and look at the early parts, almost 10 years now, when he first came down the golden escalator, he's slowing down too. He's different now, almost 10 years into his thing. We're going to have this same discussion again for the next 3.5 years. And we now know that both sides, the partisanship's going to take over. We know the media that's friendly to both sides is going to try to cover it up. This is going to be an ongoing problem. And as long as we're going to elect people in their late 70s and early 80s. This is going to continue to be a problem. We should probably get a handle on how we're going to deal with it, especially the fact that in this media environment, media biases isn't just ideological. It's now age-based of my guy's got to be perfect no matter what, no matter what the clear evidence to the common man looking at it on TV says. Andrew
Donaldson joining us on the Final Five. Andrew, good to see you again, my friend.
Anytime. Happy birthday, buddy.
And a happy birthday to you, although maybe we'll talk to you before then. Good to see you again.
I sure hope so. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Final Five is back after this.